Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it. And this video is going to be a little bit different. Uh, I know many of you probably saw the video I put out Wednesday saying I was going over the Tuesday night city council meeting, referencing home evaluations, how the assessment values have went up for many property owners, which could translate to many Pittsfield taxpayers as a 5% increase uh, of what they were paying from what they were paying last year. And yes, the mayor did lower the actual tax rates, but with the new assessment values, you're going to end up paying more for many homeowners. So that's, if you haven't seen that video, I posted it again Wednesday morning. Well, one of our former city councilors by the name of Mike Ward, and the only reason I'm referencing him personally is he is a former Pittsfield city councilor, decided to, for whatever reason, come after me on that video because, well, first, because of something I said. So let's first listen to what I said, which is right here. And I think the only way to really fix this is we're going to have to get a new mayor that is willing to immediately ask for another charter review, because there'll be one coming up before the election, and get it on the ballot for the residents to vote for a city manager. And under a city management style government, you still have a mayor, but that mayor is on the council. They're basically like a representative to City Hall, and that pay would be cut considerably, 70 to 80%, as it should be. And a city manager could go in and start trimming the fat immediately, and there's a lot of it. I just feel like we misspend so much, and we're watching that budget year after year increase and increase and increase, and we're not seeing the real growth. And now, okay, so that's what I said, that a city manager could basically trim the fat, and I said there's a lot of fat in Pittsfield. So he decided to go back and forth with me, and I was being pretty respectful, and I believe I continued to through the entire process, even though he started calling me Mayor Mike and saying that all of you were good friends for circling the wagons. So if you haven't seen that video or that comment, his name is Mike Ward. He's a former Pittsfield city councilor. He doesn't live in Pittsfield, but he's very interested in what I had to say. And you'll see the comments on there. You can like or whatever you want on those, but they're right there. So he wants specifics, and he somehow said that he wants me to come up with 5% or 3% of the budget that I would cut, and then said something about I would be cutting shot spotter and layoffs and health insurance. So I don't know where he got that from, but basically what that is, it's a typical tactic. I've seen it in a couple mayoral elections that I've been involved in here in Pittsfield, and that's generally a way for incumbents or some opponents to go after other challengers, to say, oh, if you vote for them, they're going to see what they said, they're going to lay off, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. So I told him that this video would be dedicated to him. So hi, Mike, this is dedicated to you, and I hope I can answer your question correctly. So again, I still believe that a city manager, like what Ed Augustus has done in Worcester since they switched over to a city management style government in 2014, they had many of the same problems that we have in Pittsfield. And Ed Augustus has done wonders. He's the second city manager they had, but he's been there the longest. And again, they just switched over to that style government. So I follow what Worcester's done quite a bit. But he asked for specific examples. Now, obviously, I can't give a percentage of what I would cut and what I wouldn't cut, which I thought was ridiculous. So he completely took what I said out of context. But I'm going to give you an example of where I think when I said there's plenty of fat in that budget. And these are things I was referring to. Take choice out of students. And I'm sure, Mike, you can relate to this. I believe when you left Pittsfield, your kids go to Lenox Public Schools. And Lenox Public Schools, we've had quite a few students choice out to that district. But if you look at the Pittsfield Public School system, so over the past 6 or so years, our district is ranked as underperforming. We have a lot of problems that are taking place. We have teachers still, we have faculty and staff in our public schools that have no contract. They're underpaid compared to the rest of the county. I think they're ranked 7th or 8th as far as pay goes. We have a very high turnover rate with personnel as well as students choicing out. Now, when students choice out to other districts, like Lenox, Mike, where you live and where your kids go to school, when that happens, when Pittsfield students choice out to these other districts, Chapter 70 money comes in to the city to fund part of the budget for that, and we have to pay those districts where the students choice out. And I believe it's costing us roughly right now between three and a half million a year, right there. So there's a perfect example of what I was talking about. Because if we could run our schools more efficiently, if we could stop such a high turnover rate and build better morale and treat our teachers better and give them the tools that they need, then I believe more students would be choicing into the Pittsfield public school systems, and that deficit in the millions where we're at, that could actually be more revenue coming in. When we have a beautiful school like Taconic, this one of the best vocational schools in the county by far, that should be happening. So there's just one example, and I could give you a lot more, but that's where I was going with this. And I even responded to Mr. Ward in a comment saying we could do like Kaizen events. Now, Kaizen events, that terminology is mainly used in manufacturing. It's a Japanese terminology, but it's very common in the manufacturing industry. And it's basically going in, looking at your operations, starting from the ground floor up, where you're interviewing all your personnel. How long have you been here? What is it that you do? What do you like about your job? What don't you like about your job? Where do you think we can make improvements? And you look at the overall. Now, if you have that situation where you have top-heavy administration and underpaid, unhappy employees underneath that administration, you might have an unbalance there. And you need to make sure that morale is good within your employees, because all that produces better production, a more efficiently run company. There's no layoffs. Nobody was talking about anything like that. That's what I was referring to. You streamline your budget. You make sure the city is running efficiently as possible. You want your employees happy, because happy employees is better work, better productivity. And the schools is a great place to start. I think our teachers are unheard. I think they're not getting the right tools and attention that they need to do their job better. And we have great teachers, but we have a high turnover rate. And it's around 20%. That's unacceptable. So that's a perfect example. And that should be good enough to answer that question. I hope that clears things up for you. As far as trying to get me to say something about layoffs or things like that, or calling me Mayor Mike, or I guess I have 7,000 followers on this page, I guess saying they're good friends and I'm a good guy or whatever, but they're circling their wagons around me. I found that to be a little inappropriate, but we can definitely continue this conversation. I appreciate your engagement with the page, and a good time to be doing that would be Saturday, November 20th at 10 a.m. We're doing a trash pickup. Through this page, it's Pittsfield Tonight, and I'm doing this with Dasheen Moore, who is the founder of the Beat the Streets program in Pittsfield, and we've organized a trash pickup. We'll be meeting again at 10 a.m. at Wacona Park near the soccer field basketball court off of Seymour Street. We're meeting at the old Friends parking lot, and we'll be doing a trash pickup and trying to hit a couple more locations after that one. But I'd be more than happy to continue this conversation with you, and you can bless me with some of your insight and while we're picking up trash. So that would be great. If you want to continue that conversation, I hope you come down for that. And I hope this clears things up for you, because that is exactly what I was saying. As far as in that other video, for those of you that haven't seen it, when I was talking about the tax increase, and the majority of the council voted to not approve that at that time, it was tabled and is coming back to the next council meeting as far as the mayor's tax proposal. And they're asking for money out of the free cash account to offset, because right now with hyperinflation, which inflation is at the worst level it's been in my lifetime, in most of your lifetimes, I'm sure. A lot of people remember we went through something similar in the 70s, but this might even be greater than that, what we're seeing right now. And this is not a time where people can afford that burden. When you see what's happening with fuel costs, we're coming into the winter season, heating costs, grocery costs, all those other expenses involved. And when you look at the home values, it's not organic growth. I said that in that last video. It's inflationary growth due to a shortage in the housing market and communities during the pandemic. It was directly tied to that. So many people's housing property values jumped considerably. When they talk about, you're building equity and building that, as soon as the feds start rate hikes, which are coming, absolutely coming, we're going to see those values reverse. There's no doubt about it. So how much equity are you building? I don't know. When you get into mortgage-backed securities, well, they're already talking a quarter basis point that the feds will be going up on that. And you're going to see all of that slow down and start to normalize. So I don't think those values are going to hold in that sense. And that's what I was referring to on that. Basically, what should happen is we should take free cash money out of the free cash account. Once we have this 3.9 million certified, we'll have roughly near 10 million in free cash to take $1 million or $2 million to use it for this year under these circumstances to offset that for the taxpayers, I believe is the right thing to do. Period. It's not something that should be happening every year, but under these circumstances, absolutely. When you're seeing inflation at the levels it's at, absolutely. So that is what I was referencing on that. And I think a lot of the taxpayers in the city would agree with that because it's going to be too much of a burden on many of them. And we are going to see the housing market stabilize. That's not true growth, what we're seeing. Yes, it raised the levy ceiling, but it's not true growth because just like we've seen at other times, those housing values, are they going to hold at that? Maybe. Is it, or maybe not. It could be hyperinflated, and a lot of people are predicting that in the market. So that's what I was saying on that. So that is it for now. I have a video coming out tomorrow. Well, today, I'll be interviewing Jerry at the Crossroads, who is also the owner of Patient Zero Records. And last week they did a dinner, last Sunday, a lasagna dinner, where the proceeds from that benefit the toy drive they do every year for families in need of toys for their children for Christmas. And they're doing a concert this Saturday, tomorrow, which will be all the proceeds from that. It's 4 bands. It's going to be a good show. And all the proceeds from that will also benefit this toy drive. So it's a really cool thing they're doing, and it's really important. So if you like rock and hardcore, it's a great place to be. And we rarely get shows like that around here. So for the diehard fans, it's going to be a lot of fun for a good cause. And I know they have a sign-up sheet also for families in need who want to participate and are looking, maybe it's a tough year for them. And there's a sign-up sheet. You can go to their Facebook page and find it there. And again, to everyone, that trash pickup that we're doing 10 a.m., it's myself along with Dasheen Moore from the Beat the Streets program, and we'll be meeting at 10 a.m. at off Seymour Street and the Friends parking lot, and we'll be cleaning up starting there at that park, and I'll be going over that in more detail as we get a little closer to that. So that's it for now. Everyone have a great day and a great weekend, and I'll catch y'all later in the interview with Jerry.